Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Funnel Trade. I had a question from a patron who's trying to get his business square with the law, trying to get officially registered with his state government, get everything set up so he gets all the benefits like writing off so many expenses and getting sales tax free purchases off of places like eBay and Amazon and TCG Player and all the other reasons that you want to be an actual business if you're into this hobby. And so he was asking me about tax reporting requirements and kind of, where do you even get started on it? And of course, for federal taxes in the US, when you start a business, you've got to do a Schedule C. Yeah, profit and loss from business. But it's not just that. You have to do a Schedule SE, a Schedule 1, a Schedule 2, a Schedule 3, a Form 8895. And you may be doing some of those already, but well, if you're not, you're going to have to add all of those for your business. Now, it sounds really bad. It sounds like a whole lot to do, but the thing about it is that these forms do not change radically year to year. I went ahead and I printed out the tax year 2024 version of the Schedule C, and I was going to print out even more of them because, hey, I've got to do my taxes at some point in the next several months. And it turned out that a lot of the forms are still in their draft state, so the IRS may change them before the beginning of 2025, which is when people start filing their 2024 taxes. So I only brought Schedule C to you here, but here's how I'm going to explain that this really is not that big of a deal. Okay, so the forms don't change a lot year to year. So what I do is two things. There's two things here that are going to make it really easy. One is after the first year you do this. Now, yes, the first year you do this, you are going to spend all day long doing your business taxes on a Saturday because you're going to have to look at all the instruction PDF documents from the IRS to figure out exactly what each line means. Yes, the first year it's brutal. Every year after that, you get your previous year's tax documents, you sit it here, you sit the current year's here, and most of these things are exactly the same. And in fact, I've already come through and I've done that because there's a lot of these things that aren't going to change for me. I typically put 0 when it can apply to me, but it is 0. And I put a dash when it's a situation that does not apply to me. I'm not horribly consistent on that. But, I just looked back at my 2023 year tax filing. I put it next to this new 2024 form, and I looked at them and I copied them over. And for the second page, I'm going to use the same method for inventory valuation. And I know some of these will already be that. I know that I still use the same car in service of the business, and it was still put into use for the business on the same date in the past. So a lot of these things, you essentially, in subsequent years after year first, you pick up for free because, again, the forms just don't change much. The second thing that happens is after your first year of doing this, you realize what are these numbers that really were a pain to me to find. And so some of these on this second page here for the inventory, the value, and the total purchases of inventory less those withdrawn for personal use, and then eventually your inventory at the end of the year, and you subtract those and you get the COGS. Well, after the first year I did this in tax year 21, I adjusted all my accounting spreadsheets to where they just continuously spit out the numbers for this form. And so when I get to the end of the year and I'm ready to do my taxes, I'll go back to the accounting spreadsheet for 2024, and there's literally already a box that will have the numbers that I fill in for these lines. And so that's the other thing you do that really makes this easier in subsequent years is, well, you set up your accounting so it spits out the numbers automatically. So you do the hard lifting the first year, years after that, you just scab onto it and steal all the answers, copy them over, and then you fix your accounting spreadsheets so that they give you the numbers you need. So realistically, at this point, I can do that Schedule C, Schedule SE, Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Form 8995. I can knock all of those out in less than an hour on the weekend, and then, maybe another hour or two for all the rest of my taxes. And, I got to do all like the kid deduction things. I got to do the, your standard 1040. I got to do capital gains and, several other things. So, you only end up spending maybe 3 hours on the weekend doing it. So it's really not that big of a deal. And the reality is, all the benefits you get from being established as a real business massively outweigh this. Just the amount of money you save not paying sales tax for your items. I mean, think of how many more hours you're going to have to work to make that money to pay the sales tax, or you can spend those hours, yes, brutally slogging through this the first year, but every subsequent year when all of your business federal tax reporting takes about an hour, yeah, definitely worth it. Now, your states may have other things, it just depends. In Texas, I have to do a quarterly kind of a income report. We don't, yeah, so they're looking for the sales tax, really. They're looking for sales tax remittance, and I do all my sales through marketplaces that collect sales tax already. So, I go into that form on their website, on the comptroller's website. Every quarter, I fill in a bunch of zeros all over the place, and then I electronically sign it. And then sometime around April or May, I have to do the state franchise tax reporting, which basically says, did you do over some number of millions of dollars of sales? And I say no. And then it says, okay, then you don't have to pay this additional tax. And that's it. So state side in Texas, very, very simple. I know other states hate you and despise your existence. And so they want to destroy you with their state business tax system. So good luck with that. But it's not a big deal. And if you are putting off actually forming up your business, wait till January 1st of 2025 and then file with your state secretary of state for your business. The comptroller will then contact you about your sales tax certificate and everything else, your reporting requirements. You can get straight with the government, and then you can actually get all the advantages. There are so many expenses in these businesses that are perfectly legal to write off. It's what you need to be doing as a business to save money and become more profitable. So if you're one of those people I talk to once in a while who has been putting this off for way too long, go get straight and get it done in January. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Funnel Trade.